Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the Starting 11 prediction show. It's Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Klopp, Simeone. Will there be a handshake after the game? Klopp said no. Will there be a handshake before the game? Klopp has said yes. It's a massive game at Anfield. Liverpool win this one and they are through in the Champions League with 2 games to spare. We know all about Atletico Madrid. We know what they're good at, what they're bad at, which isn't a lot of things, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Jurgen Klopp's going to go strong for this one. But we've got a massive game at the weekend as well, which will come into my sort of starting 11 prediction. So I'm going to start with the goalkeeper as always. Alisson Becker in net. Left back. I want to go Kostas Tsimikas, to be honest, and I think there might be an inkling. I've got an inkling, that Kostas might be the guy that plays left back, but I'm going to stick with Andy Robertson. I'm going to go Virgil van Dijk, partners Joel Matip in the middle of the defence, with Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, rounding off the back four. And that's not a reflection on Ibu Konate having a stinker at the weekend or anything like that. I just don't think that we've had a better centre-back this season than Joel Matip, and I really like him, and I think we could really use him in this game. DM, I know Jurgen did his press conference at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and he was saying that Fabinho and Thiago are back in training. James Milner's probably cleared to play this game as well. No Naby Keita. So I'm going to go that Jordan Henderson plays the 6 in this one. And I'm going to say that Milner comes back in alongside Kurt Jones in the middle of the park. Now, one of the reasons is I just think it's such a massive game against West Ham that having maybe 1 or 2 training sessions under the Fabinho's belt, I know how important a player he is. I just wonder whether Klopp won't risk him for this one, because we've still got another couple of games where we could get through, and it might be more important to have him against West Ham. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go Sadio Mane. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go Mo Salah. And up top, I'm going to switch out Bobby Firmino for Diogo Jota in this one. Substitutes then. Let me know your starting 11s in the comments section as well. I'm going to go Queven Keller if he's fit and available. Adrian, because we always seem to have 2 subs. Kostas Tsimikas, Konate, Joe Gomez and Nico Williams round off my first 6 players. Fabinho comes back in. Thiago I'm going to throw on the bench as well. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Takumi Minamino, Roberto Firmino and Divock Origi. So no spots on the bench for Nat Phillips. I think Nat Phillips might be the only one who's fit and available that doesn't make the bench. I don't know about the goalkeepers. Maybe you'd rather have Nat Phillips there, but I'm not 100% sure. So as I mentioned before I get into the comments and stuff, I do think there's a good chance that, a reasonable chance. What? Milner's out. Milner's out? Oh, I thought he said he was clear to play.
No, he said he's fit, he's not fit.
He said he was clear? He literally said the words clear.
I thought...
Is that right? Let me know in the comments section. There's people saying Milner's injured. I'm pretty certain that Klopp actually said Milner's clear. Now, I'm not 100% sure now. I'm just going to quickly check. Apart from that, Millie is clear, and others who are rather long-term are out as well. Does that... Oh, that is a bit... That is a little bit... I'm not 100% sure. Apart from that, Millie is clear, and others who are long-term are out as well. I don't know what that means then. Klopp did say Milner is clear. Milner is long-term. Milner is not cleared for tomorrow. Why did he say Milner is clear? Anyway, okay, well, look, I'm going to put Milner back in because I thought he said clear in the press conference. I'm going to talk about Kostas Tsimikas. So Kostas, I do think there's a reasonable chance that Kostas might be brought in for Andy Robertson, to be honest. But again, I kind of settled on Andy Robertson in this one. I did like Kostas earlier on in the season, though, so I wouldn't be displeased if we wanted to bring him in. I know his chances created per game are actually higher than Andy Robertson as well. Certainly per 90 as well. Maybe the overall chances aren't there, but per game, certainly. All right, well, if Milner is out, I think that's probably the next talking point then. If everybody's saying he's out, it's probably going to be Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, isn't it? For me, unless you do risk a Thiago or a Fabinho. And again, Thiago's been out since, what was it, September the 18th maybe, against Crystal Palace, Thiago. Fabinho's obviously been out not that long, so he could come back in, he could. But I just think those 2 players are really important. and you probably just go with the three-man midfield, or you change it up a little bit and maybe you do look at that 4-2-3-1 formation, get a sort of solid base with the two defensive midfielders. I'd like to see Thiago and I'd like to see Fabinho later on in the game, if I'm honest, just to get them some minutes, because I do think that Fabinho's almost guaranteed to come back in against West Ham United. And that's thrown me, that Milner thing, to be honest with you. Now, well, I suppose if Milner's not available, then the only other player you can put in there is Nat Phillips, which I suppose it's not in position. No, can't deal with that. Sorry. I'm going to have to put him here with the centre halves, and then I'm going to have to put Nico Williams, the right back, and then the midfielders of Fabinho and Thiago if Milner is indeed out for this one. As far as the forwards go then, we're talking Mane, I've got Jota and Salah. There's obviously Origi played at Anfield, was against AC Milan. You've got Minamino, you've got Roberto Firmino. He didn't have the best game, did he, at the weekend, Roberto Firmino, but we know how important he is. You know, he wins the ball back for us more than any other player in the final third, and has done this season so far, and consistently he's been up there over his time at Liverpool Football Club. But maybe it's time to give Jota that sort of 9 spot back and see if you can put a jolt up Bobby's arse, as it were. See if you can get him playing that little bit better again, because it was only a week ago, to be fair, that he was playing unbelievably. Maybe try a 4-2-3-1 with Morton Hendo as the 2, says Alex A. I can't imagine he's going to play Morton against Atletico Madrid. Mario da Costa says Minamino is a good shout. Where are you popping Minamino, mate? Are you popping him there? Or could you play him as a 10 if you were dropping into a 4-2-3-1 formation? Or would you bother with something like that if you've got Roberto Firmino who can play that position there? Maybe actually it would be quite nice to see something else with one of the other players over here if it was a 4-2-3-1, and try and get Mo on the end of things, maybe Mane on the right, Jota on the left hand side, Firmino looking to play in Salah, but there's generally speaking no space behind their back line, so that might be difficult, but the intricacies of passing would work with those 4 players, and if they are sitting in, thing is, Atletico Madrid, for me, have to try and get a result. Does that give us a little bit more space? They were quite open against us a couple of weeks ago, so maybe that would play into our hands a little bit, but I'd imagine that Minamino isn't going to start in this one. I'll put the players back to how they were then, and then obviously we've got a midfielder missing now. So we'll put Oxlade-Chamberlain back in with Kurt Jones over there. I've moved a lot of players around here. So let's see what else have we got. 4-2-3-1 if we play Fab, says EB23. Give Salah a rest. He was crap at the weekend, says Thor Gaiman. Okay. Origi starts, so he's ready for when Mo and Sadio go for AFCON, said Protegidu. Okay, Origi to start. Okay. Maybe that's more sort of, I don't know, Capital One Cup or whatever it's called, Carabao Cup late on in December, maybe some minutes over December. We probably don't need to get him up to speed just yet, but he did, to be fair, play against AC Milan out of nowhere. I think Konate will be able to break into the centre-back position. I think he'd be a wall and hard to get past once he's able to get there, says Kim Cocker and Morrison. Konate is obviously, you know, he's an absolute beast at Old Trafford only a week or so ago now, wasn't he? Looked like he had a nice little understanding with Virgil van Dijk. But for me, I suppose to answer your question, yes, I do think he's going to be the future centre-half of Liverpool Football Club, judging on what I've seen from him so far and how much Liverpool spent on him, and what I've heard people talking about him and how they describe him and stuff like that. Maybe this season is just about adjusting and hopefully maybe breaking into the team. But right now, Matip's playing at such a good level. And this is a good thing, isn't it? Is that Joel Matip's playing so well, but we know his injury history. If he does get an injury, then you have got Konate and almost a forgotten man in Joe Gomez, who it feels like is probably being groomed to be that left-sided centre-half at the moment. Will Joe Gomez be comfortable with the amount of minutes he's getting? Possibly not. But again, maybe he's understanding because he has had that long-term injury as well. Other than that, you're probably not changing Trent Alexander-Arnold for Nico Williams. If James Milner's out anyway, that wouldn't be a possibility. Suppose that's kind of where we're at the moment. Jota, Firmino, Salah as well. That's an interesting one. Where's Jota? Where's Firmino? Sorry, Firmino's there. So we'll throw Jota on that left-hand side. I do like Jota off the left-hand side. In fact, I might prefer him off the left-hand side than the 9, to be honest, because I think he's one of those... I don't think he's quite as good at the link-up play as Roberto Firmino. I think his pressing's good. Maybe, again, not quite as good as Roberto Firmino. But from that left-hand side, when he's sort of tasked with getting on the end of something, getting into the box late, dribbling at a fella, maybe running at a man, something like that, I really like Jota from that left-hand side. And it does give us some options and a little bit of a chance again to rest Sadio Mane, which is never a bad thing. And we know that Jota and Firmino are going to be needed massively, aren't they, during the AFCON, if that all goes ahead as planned. Because you'd imagine that you'd be looking at Jota, Firmino, +1 on this right-hand side, maybe. It could be an Ox, it could be a Taki Minamino. I mean, Origi could play somewhere in the front 3, who knows, but it's going to be a struggle, isn't it? I think we're going to play 3 at the back to get Robbo and Trent further up the pitch, Adrian Wakefield. That's an interesting shout, actually. I've never really considered Liverpool playing a 3 at the back. Thiago's trim deserves a start, says John Cahill. He's looking good in training, isn't he? He's got a little bit of hair back. He looks comfortable in his own skin at the moment. He has a lot of time to work on his hair because he's not had a lot of game time. So yeah, Gomez in the 6 is Zayn Sheikh. That's a possibility. Actually, not Gomez in the 6, but certainly, you know, Joe Matip used to play the 6 back in the day. It was at Schalke we bought him from. I can't quite remember, but I know that he's played a little bit of the 6. Obviously, people have been taught. This is about the time when someone mentions Trent in midfield to me. But again, he gets on the ball so much from right back. Do you need him in the middle of the park? Who knows? 5 subs. So we can play on using them all. We can plan on using them all. Give some of the first 11 a rest, said Colin Hayes. That's an absolute possibility as well. Joe Gomez right back, Trent into midfield with Hendo and Jones. I told you. Yay, Jackson Pollock, thank you so much. I knew someone would mention Trent Alexander-Arnold into the midfield. Until he's done it, I'm not going to ever predict that he's going to do it. But I like the shout, made that sound. So there you go. That is my starting 11 prediction show. Leave me yours in the comments section, your full 11, stuff like that. Let me know who you think. Do you think Kostas Tsimikas might get a start in this one? Do you think Joe Gomez, in fact that isn't my starting 11, do you think Joe Gomez or Joe Matip or Ibu Konate will start alongside Virgil van Dijk? Do you think Virgil van Dijk will indeed start, or could it be Joe Gomez and Joe Matip for this one? Fabinho, Thiago, are you risking them? These are the things that I want you to answer with your starting 11s in the comment section. Don't forget, the lads will be live an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff for the team news tomorrow, and then live for a watch along. Me and Paul will be at the game for this one. It promises to be a good one though. Fingers crossed Liverpool come out with the win and progress, which gives us 2 games where we can properly rotate players later on in the Champions League. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you want more from us, then please do consider joining Redmen Plus, our Liverpool streaming service, with extra shows, bonus features, interviews, and incredible documentaries like Netflix for Liverpool fans. We've got the club captain and the club legend here. If you join as a club legend, you get your name in this wonderful list here. Look at them wonderful legends. Anyway, Redmen Plus on the redmentv.com. Join up.